Previously, I did a quick review of this AIRCARE whole house humidifier. It works as advertised by adding more moisture into the air, which is much needed in the wintertime. Sadly, this humidifier uses these wicks or filters. They'll last you about 2 or 3 weeks if you're lucky. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make them last much longer and also make the humidifier even better. Before we make any improvement, we have to understand how this humidifier works. So you're supposed to fill in water right here, and it will form a layer down at the bottom. The wick is supposed to suck up all the water, making the wick nice and wet and moist. And then this fan right here is supposed to suck the air in, pushes the wet air up into your room. Theoretically, that's how it's supposed to work, but in reality, this wick sucks, meaning it doesn't even work like that at all. If you're lucky, it's supposed to suck up some water, but eventually this whole wick dries out and no longer suck any moisture whatsoever at all. How do you know when the wick is not working? You'll know when you're dumping water in. For my instance, I fill it up with 1.5 gallon of water per day. If the wick is no longer working, then I'll be dumping water and it'll come up here, and then next day it'll come up here, and then the next day it'll come up here without dumping any of the water up in the air. That's how you know the wick is no longer working. The simplest solution that I found was putting a water pump right here. It doesn't have to be super fancy. It's just a small water pump you can get for about $5. It'll pump all of the water up back into this wick, and then the water will slowly go down into the wick, making it nice and moist. Moist. This is the old wick. It's really nasty, isn't it? After about 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to remove the old wick. It's really easy. There's these clips that you can just lift right up. In total, there's 6 of them. 3 on one side. Another 3 is on the other side. Before we install a new wick, I'm going to sanitize everything using this Clorox with bleach. It should be good enough to kill everything. Next up, I'm going to be puncturing this tube, this water tube that's coming from the water pump, making all of these holes everywhere, basically on the top, near the top. So that way, when the water comes up, it'll come out of these holes and into the wick. At the end of the tube, I didn't have anything fancy. I just used one of those earplugs and clog up the tube so that water doesn't come out at the end. Nothing fancy, really. The pump is really small. It's being powered by 5 volts. So we're using this USB power bank to power up the pump. Here's a comparison of the USB pump versus one of those big aquarium pumps. Both of them are completely submersible, so you're supposed to dump this into the water. And this thing was pumping crazy, like 400 gallons per hour. That's a lot. Meanwhile, this is a lot less. I forgot the exact number, but it's a lot less than 400 gallon. This tube is 8 millimeter inner diameter with 10 millimeter on the outer diameter. Because we have so much holes, the water is being spilled all over the place. So I'm actually using this angle brackets, aluminum, to cover the holes. When water comes out, it'll hit the brackets and into the wick. In the back, there's actually a hole. So my USB cable is coming out of this hole. I honestly don't know why there's a hole in the back of it. So that's why you can see that they're telling you not to fill the water past this level. Otherwise, water will come out of the hole. And this is what it looks like in the final setup. Believe it or not, we can definitely make this humidifier smart. This is a Zigbee plug with power monitoring. If you're using Zigbee to MQTT like myself, go ahead and go into it and then click on Permit Join. Go ahead and plug the power plug in. There we go. It found the device. Click on the pencil tool to rename it. Check the box and then click on Rename Device. Now we can go to the settings. Go down to Integrations. Go down to MQTT. Click on Devices. Search for it, Humidifier. There we go. Let's flip it to the on position. And if you scroll down, you can see the power consumption. Right now the fan is on the lowest level. That's why it's only consuming about 40 watts. We can certainly create an automation to monitor this power. So if power dips down to like 0, then we know that the fan is off. And if the fan is off, then that means the water level is way too low, and we can set up an alert telling us to fill up the water. Just for fun, here's a graph of the humidity in the room. You can clearly see when the pump started working and its effects on the monitor nearby. Hopefully you found this video helpful on how to make your humidifier even better. I really appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel, liking this video, and thanks for watching.